I'm Traci Tijerina, and I'd like to share with you my idol's addiction of cocaine, alcohol, cigarettes, and now food. I enjoyed food as a young child, and I can remember probably the first real diet I was put on was when I was in 8th grade. My mother put me on Weight Watchers, and my brother always picked on me for being overweight, and he just didn't want me around him, just didn't. And it hurt a lot. My mother, once I heard her say that, she didn't really like heavier people, and I took it personally. By the time I hit 15, 16, 17, somewhere along in there, I started looking for other ways to make that pain of being heavy and kind of different than everybody else. First time I ever tried marijuana, and boy, did that feel good not to feel. From that point on, I became what we say, a social partier. I drank, I smoked, and by the time I was in my 20s, I had tried cocaine and several other different drugs. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to actually become addicted to something that I had to have. And about 10 years ago, I realized that I needed something, and it was the drugs, that I had put that above myself, my son, my husband, God, and everybody, and nothing else mattered. I went to work and I struggled so that I could make money, so that I could be high. It lasted like that for about 7 years before I finally fell apart. My son one time came home and I was using, and he knew, and he went straight to his bedroom and locked his door. Wanted nothing to do with me. You would think at that time that I would have stopped, that I would have been able to recognize how important I had made something else over him. But I didn't. It had such a hold on me that I took myself to my bedroom, locked the door, and got higher, so that I could push away the pain that I was feeling because of something I had done to my son, not even recognizing the pain that I put him through. He was scared. My son was so scared. He had a BB gun that he used to sleep with next to his bed, because he didn't know if a bad person was going to come to his house, because he didn't know. He didn't know what I was doing. He didn't understand it. I was in my room all alone one night, and I was scared, and I was all alone, and I was high. I was sitting on my chair, and I said, God, why do I do this to myself? I just want to die. And I meant it, but I'm a big chicken. But the only way that I could do it was if I continued doing what I was doing, that it was going to happen. I finally fell asleep, and I heard a big bang on the door, and I went to the door, and it was my little brother. And he opened the door, and the look on his face was awful. He was so disgusted, and he said, "Where's your son?" I said he was at his friend's house. He had gone to spend the night there. He said he's supposed to be at football practice. The coaches have been trying to call you all morning. He slammed the front door, got in his truck, and left. I knew things had gotten so bad that there was a good chance I could lose my son. So I jumped in the car and went and I got my son. I took him to football practice, and I came home. And I had remembered something that somebody told me once. at a meeting that I was at NA. And I had asked her, how do you do it? How did you do it? How did you get clean? And she said, I grabbed the Bible. And when things got tough, I held on tight. And I just held on. So while my son was at practice, I went into the bedroom and I grabbed my Bible. I sat on the bed. And at first I thought, this isn't doing a thing for me. This is doing nothing. But at that point, I was also very tired from the night before and the things that I had done. So I fell asleep. When I woke up, my son was home from practice. We had dinner, and later on that night, I laid in the bed. And I cried out to God. I cried out, please take the demons out of me that made me do this, thanks to myself and to everyone around me. I asked him please to take it away because I didn't want to be that person anymore. I made that so important in my life that nothing else mattered, and I just wanted it to go away because I knew inside I was a really good person. I knew that that wasn't who I was, that I had given in to such a evil thing. It was so ugly. And I laid in the bed with my arms wide open, just crying. And my son came in the bedroom and he said, Mom, what's going on? And I said, I just don't want to be sick anymore. Well, he knew. He said, Mom, it's okay. God's going to help you. I believe it's my biggest blessing from God was my son. I started going to a counselor and started working on getting through my things inside that were wrong, and then feeling better about who I was and making amends and apologizing and, taking care of all the bad things that I had done, asking for forgiveness. And, as I got cleaner, I realized that it was just pain and pain inside, and the struggles to stop it were too much. I just to stop and not use, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I wasn't ready. Like right now with my food addiction, be it my biggest addiction of all, I would say the addiction that led me into drug addiction. 2 weeks ago, crying in my living room because I couldn't eat a cheeseburger. Mad. Because I wanted food. And I couldn't have it. And I almost did. Almost got in that car and went to McDonald's. And then I remembered God, and I remember what He had done for me and my other addictions. And I didn't get the cheeseburger. I had a handful of nuts. One morning I woke up and I thought, I need to go back to church. I had been going to church, but I need to go back to church. And I came over here to Trinity because I've been coming. And in the middle of that week, I had someone steal some money from my purse on the football field. And it was my rent money and my medicine money. And I was devastated, didn't know what to do. So I came here to the church, not knowing what I was going to do. I just thought, I don't know what to do. I was feeling that need to use again, and I didn't want to use, and I knew that I had to do something. So I came to the church. I went to go put my hand on the front door of the church, not knowing where I was going, and the name Jackie came to me. And I remembered I cut her hair. And when I came in here, her and Dottie took me in the back room. They prayed with me and they told me everything was going to be fine. Dottie helped me get my medicine taken care of, and I went home and I felt so good. It made me feel so wonderful that I was actually feeling what God could do to help me get past this rock bottom that I had hit in my life, that he was going to guide me, that I had come here and that he was going to guide me. So I get a phone call from the police station. They told me to come down to the police station, and there was an envelope down there for me, and they said it was dropped off anonymously. And they handed it to me, and on the back of it, it said Luke 3:16. Go home, my son goes home and he reads it, and he comes back out of the room and he recites it for me. I said, we'll open it up now. So we opened up the manila envelope, and inside it had a white piece of paper that said, trust in the Lord and he will provide. And when I opened up the envelope, there was $500 in it. I don't think God could have smacked me upside of the head any harder than he did at that moment. It was his miracles beginning to happen in my life, because I knew that I was doing the right things finally, that I was making the right choices in my life, that I was bringing myself up out of the depth of that hole that I was in, and that all that hanging on I was doing when I was using, just waiting, that finally when I reached up and grabbed a hold of his hand, that he was now guiding me. Since then, I can't tell you the wonderful things that has happened. I've made so many right choices, and I just keep following him, doing as much as I can for everyone else. I have a beauty salon that God graced me with. The healing's never over. The pain is gone. The emotion is still there. I think that's what makes us human, is that we forgive ourselves, but we still feel those things that we went through. My beauty salon is so gorgeous. You walk in, the first thing you see is a cross. Somebody said to me one day, you have a cross in your beauty salon? I said, why not? I can tell you, that's what the part that God played in my life is a part that he'll play for the rest of my life. I know who I am now. I know who I've always been. I'm just getting her back and holding my gorgeous son's hand together at the same time now without having any regrets. I know that what I went through was what I was supposed to go through to be where I am now, to be so close to where God and I have he is my idol. He is what comes first. He is the most important thing in my life. He is my comfort. The only true fear I have anymore, they say, is the fear of God in a healthy way. I'm not quite sure. I haven't learned that yet, but I understand that God is everything. Thank you for Jesus.